Hey guys, Prithviraj here, hope you guys are doing great. Today we're taking a closer look at the Acer Swift 3 for 2020, and what makes this particular laptop interesting is the fact that it runs AMD Ryzen 4000 series processor. Now let's begin, and you're watching The Adventures of Vesper. Now let's take a closer look at the design itself. Now honestly, the design has not changed at all. In fact, you get pretty much the same design as its predecessor on the Swift 3 with the AMD version, and the only thing is that now you get in this mauve purple color, which has a little bit of pink color to it, and also sometimes it does look like purple. So if you want that pink or that purple kind of color laptop in the market, you can always go for this one. So it's really nice. And in terms of build quality also, there's nothing much has changed, because it still is constructed in the aluminium body, and you're going to pretty much get a good quality body. And also at the same time, since it's a light laptop, you will have to open up with two hands because the one finger lift does just not work. And finally, you can also do this. The laptop is pretty flexible to a point that you can actually go 180 degrees. So this is nice. Now in terms of specification is where the Acer Swift 3 has excelled this time around, and under the hood you get an AMD Ryzen 5 4500U processor coupled with an Radeon integrated graphics. You get 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM, which is on board, by the way, you cannot upgrade it at all, and you get a 512 gigs of PCIe NVMe SSD, which you can upgrade by getting an M.2 based storage wherever in the market you want. And that aside, also in terms of connectivity, you get Bluetooth 5.0, and it also now supports Wi-Fi 6. Really nice, because Wi-Fi 6 is one of those ultra-fast wireless speeds that you can actually get, and you can experience it with the Swift 3. Now in terms of the storage department, there's nothing much to complain because the storage is pretty much fast, and you're looking at an NVMe drive here. The speeds are as what you would expect in an NVMe drive. You can always upgrade it with a 1 TB hard drive, but I think the 512 gigs of internal storage in the Swift 3 is more than enough for anybody to get used to it. Now where the laptop is excelling a lot is definitely in the performance division, because now you get a 6-core processor under the hood, which makes it a lot more interesting. Plus, when we tried Cinebench R20, the per core points and also the multi-threaded core points was interesting, because it ranked about 345 and 1800 plus, which means this laptop makes it a really good option if you're planning to do some CPU intensive tasks. And say for instance, in general, if you are planning to do multitasking with this laptop, that 6-core is going to help you a lot. Now we have done other tests as well, like Blender and so on, which you can actually check out in our review. But in order to give you guys a TLDR version of how capable the laptop is, the 6-core processor is also capable of boost clocking up to 4.0 GHz. So which means you're getting a really powerful processor in a machine like this. And if you're wondering about the thermal, don't worry, the laptop surprisingly runs really cool, and truth be told, I never felt any heat around the keyboard or the place where I rest my palm. Where the laptop does come with a little bit of shortcoming in that division. So say for instance, if you're planning to use this for gaming, you can't, because the integrated graphics is a Radeon graphics. You don't get a Vega version here in Malaysia, so you are pretty much limited in that area. But it's fine, because if you're planning to use this laptop basically just for your school or for your studies, or even just who wants just the productivity only kind of thing, like you're going to spend most of your time using Microsoft Office and a little bit of browsing and basically a little bit of Netflix, then this performance is just good enough. Although I do wish that 8 gigs of RAM could have been a little more higher, or giving an option to expand the RAM would have been nicer. Finally, we are moving into the input. So what we are looking here is a chiclet style keyboard, and the keyboard feels great. There is not much of improvements done in the keyboard area, which is fine, because the keyboard feels just as good as the predecessor, and you have really nice sized keys, except for the arrow key, which does take a little bit of time to get used to, but you'll be fine. The trackpad is good as well. With Windows Precision trackpad, you are not going to have any issues using the trackpad at all. And for security, they have included a fingerprint sensor, which is really a nice touch. So if you're planning to unlock with one touch, you can do that with the Swift 3. Now, is it all perfect? Well, not really. Now, the one thing that's holding the laptop be a perfect laptop is definitely the display. Now the display, it's definitely an IPS display, and you get this 1920 by 1080 ratio, and yes, it's a full HD display. Everything is great. The thing is that number one is the nits brightness. So this one hits up to 350 nits. That's bright enough for you to use on a day-to-day basis, especially in a closed environment. But if you're planning to use this laptop, let's say outdoors in a cafe or something, you might have a little bit of issue right there. But it's still visible enough for you to watch, and especially when you're in a dim lit condition, or say for instance if you're watching a movie in this laptop at night, you're not going to have any issues at all. And another thing is the color calibration. For something that actually is rated that the laptop has really good color calibration, the color falls into the warmer tone and it's a little inaccurate. Other than that, what I really love about this laptop, final thing, is actually the charging port. Now, unlike any other laptop, this one has two ways of charging the laptop. One, you can always use the included DC in adapter that comes with the box itself, and you can also use a fast charging adapter to charge the laptop. How so? Now, in order to do that, all you need to do is just pick up a 65 watt power brick, which has a USB C to C connectivity, and yes, you will have to pick up a C to C cable that is capable of transferring that much of wattage. You can always use that and charge your laptop as well. So which means you don't have to bring your power brick everywhere you go. You can always get a 65 watt adapter and use that anywhere and everywhere to keep your setup as simple as possible on the move. And we actually reviewed one, so you can check that link down in the description below, which is a great option if you want to get one. So we are at the end of the video. The Acer Swift 3 is a fantastic laptop. Trust me, even if you were to look past that color inaccuracy and the 350 nits brightness of the display, you are getting one heck of a laptop for you to use on a day-to-day basis. Now, who is this laptop targeted towards to? Well, you can actually use this laptop or get this laptop for school, for your education purposes. So say for instance, if you really want that Windows machine that is capable of enough power for you to handle your productivity centric work, this is the best laptop you can buy. And let's say if you're in the workforce and you just want that work related task that you want to do with the laptop, the Acer Swift 3 definitely holds the bar on that. What makes the laptop best is the price tag. Coming in at $2,599, if I tell you you can actually own this laptop, it's quite the shocker, because not only the fact that you get to own a really nice laptop, but it houses the latest AMD Ryzen processor with 6 core. You cannot get that anywhere else. Hey guys, if you're watching this video from any other part of the world, say for instance India or something, we have no idea when this laptop is going to be available in our region, but make sure to check up with your local distributors right there. So this is basically the review of the Acer Swift 3. Before we end this video, huge thanks to Acer Malaysia for making this possible. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't have done this review. And if you want to read the full in-depth review, check out the link down in the description below. Make sure to like us on our Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, because that's where all things tech related happen here at The Adventures of Vesper, and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we will post these kind of videos every single week for your tech pleasure. And that's basically it. This is Prithviraj signing off. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon. Bye!